On the evening of February 20th, 2025, a U.S. Air Force F-16 Fighting Falcon from the 421st Fighter Squadron was flying top cover for an American naval task force as it patrolled the Red Sea, just off the coast of Yemen. The mission was routine calm seas, steady comms, a sky painted orange by the fading sun. But within minutes, that calm would be shattered by one of the boldest Houthi attacks, yet an attempt to bring down a U.S. fighter jet with Soviet-made missiles. What followed was not just a test of American technology, but also a demonstration of why even a decades-old F-16 remains one of the most lethal aircraft in the skies. The first missile. At 5:23 p.m. local time, an SA-6 Gainful missile battery, hidden near the Yemeni port city of Hodeidah, locked onto the F-16. Moments later, a missile streaked into the sky at Mach 2.8. Its range of 23 kilometers meant the pilot had only seconds to react. But the F-16 was ready. On its nose sat the AN/APG 83SABR radar, a powerful system capable of spotting threats long before they reach lethal range. At 42 kilometers out, the radar picked up the incoming missile, giving the pilot just enough warning to act. He rolled the jet into a steep dive, plummeting from 30,000 to 15,000 feet in seconds. The maneuver disrupted the missile's fire control solution, but it wasn't enough. The Houthis fired again, breaking the kill chain. The SA-6 is a semi-active missile, meaning its guidance depends on continuous radar illumination from the ground. To defeat it, the F-16 relied on layers of defense. First came evasive maneuvers, hard banking turns designed to throw off the missile's seeker head. But with multiple missiles in the air, the radar began to lose track at high angles, leaving the pilot temporarily blind. That's when the jet's Pylon Integrated Dispensing System PIDS activated. Tiny ultraviolet sensors detected the missile plume, automatically deploying a storm of MJU-50B flares and RR-180 chaff bundles. Within seconds, a decoy cloud half a kilometer wide filled the sky. One missile swerved off target, another lost lock, but still several kept charging in. The Houthis weren't letting go. Electronic warfare, the last shield. With countermeasures nearly spent, the pilot engaged the aircraft's final defense, the AN/ALQ-184 electronic jamming pod, mounted under the fuselage. This system didn't just blind the missile, it attacked its very brain. By flooding the 6 to 8 gigahertz frequency band used by the SA-6's radar, the pod severed the missile's guidance link with its operators on the ground. Accuracy dropped by 70%. In the cockpit, the pilot watched as the once deadly missiles spiraled off into ballistic arcs, harmlessly splashing into the sea below. The Falcon was untouched. The Houthis try again. But the Houthis weren't finished. At 6:07 p.m., less than an hour later, they launched another SA-6. This time, the target wasn't a fighter jet. It was a US MQ-9 Reaper drone flying reconnaissance northeast of Hodeidah. The drone's Pandora missile warning system caught the launch within seconds, triggering its AN/ALE 47 countermeasure suite. The operator ordered an emergency climb above 15,000 feet, while the system dispensed flares and chaff in rapid succession. The Reaper survived, but not without scars. After landing, maintainers discovered its right wing was peppered with shrapnel evidence of just how close the Houthis had come. Washington responds for U.S. Central Command. This was a line crossed. The Houthis had now directly targeted a manned American fighter aircraft in open daylight. Within hours, the order came down. A response was mandatory. At 3:45 a.m., the destroyer USS Spruance launched 2 SM-6 missiles in surface attack mode, normally an air defense weapon, now repurposed to obliterate the mobile SA-6 battery. 6 minutes later, satellite feeds confirmed a fireball where the Houthi launcher once stood. 8 operators were killed. But Washington didn't stop there. That same night, waves of FA-18 Super Hornets from the carrier USS Harry S. Truman took off, loaded with AGM-154 Joint Standoff Weapons JSOWs. GPS-guided and long-ranged, these weapons rained destruction on Houthi storage depots and missile sites. By dawn, the U.S. had destroyed 3 more SA-6 launchers, 14 ballistic missiles, and 23 cruise missiles. The consequence: the strike carried a crystal-clear message. The United States would not tolerate any direct assault on its aircraft, whether piloted or unmanned. The Houthis' decision to lock onto a single F-16 cost them far more than they anticipated. In mere moments, their stockpiles of surface-to-air missiles and hardened launch sites assets that had taken months, if not years, to acquire and prepare were reduced to rubble. What began as an attempted ambush ended in the systematic destruction of a significant portion of their military capability. For the international community, the clash served as a stark reminder of how delicate the situation in the Red Sea truly is. Even a non-state actor like the Houthis, equipped with decades-old Soviet hardware supplemented by Iranian modifications, could create a ripple of instability large enough to threaten global shipping lanes and draw the attention of the world's most powerful military. Yet, as the smoke cleared, the defining factor wasn't who had weapons, but who knew how to wield them with precision, discipline, and strategy. In the end, the exchange left no room for misinterpretation. The Houthis had fired the first shot, but the U.S. answered in a way that underscored the gap between a militia and a superpower. Once again, the skies over Yemen revealed an unshakable truth. Challenging American air power is not just reckless, it is a mistake with consequences that echo far beyond the battlefield. The failed Houthi attempt to bring down a U.S. fighter may not have succeeded militarily, but it sent shockwaves across the region. It marked a dangerous escalation in the Red Sea, where even a single confrontation can shift the balance of power and trigger wider consequences. The skies above Yemen are no longer just a local battlefield, they have become part of a much larger global chessboard. This incident raises important questions. Are we witnessing the early signs of a broader conflict, or just another flare-up in a long and complicated struggle? The fact that a militia, armed with outdated weapons, dared to challenge one of the world's most advanced air forces shows how unpredictable this theater has become. The Red Sea has always been a critical artery for global trade, and every clash here ripples far beyond the battlefield. Now I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think this was just a one-off exchange, or the beginning of something bigger? Share your perspective in the comments below. And if you found value in this deep dive breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more expert military analysis, where we unpack the strategies, risks, and consequences shaping modern warfare.